Hello, I'm Alan. Today we are drinking another Hibiki-an Gyokuro. This is their Gyokuro Premium. And I am just pretty excited about their teas so far. So I've only had one, this is now the second one. And this is still one of their lower grades, but it still looks amazing and it still smells amazing. The leaf is pretty, very large, intact leaf in this. The color is also very even, a very deep, foresty green. I'm just kind of excited to see what their high-end ones are, if this is one of their lower. So I found that they had, what was it, their Superior, this is the Premium, then they have a Super Premium, and then they have a hidden on the website. I found a Pinnacle, and then they have these stored ones. I'm forgetting the name of the stored ones, but they've got the storehouse. So they've aged for like a year and a half. So there's like 5, oh no, because in the storehouse one, there's also 3 varieties. So there's like 7 different ones. Anyway, of all of those, if this is still one of those lower entry ones, I am kind of excited to see what the higher entry ones are. Anyway, so let's get this going. We've got kind of standard for how I brew. We've got 6 grams per 100 ml, so a total of 12 grams of leaf. Get that all in there. Kind of spilling it, but whatever. And room temperature water. Gotta get that all coated. I always forget this on the cold brew. Let's get the timer going. Alright, and we'll be back. Welcome back. We are passing 13.5 minutes. Getting ready to try this new one. Their Gyokuro Premium. Get that out of the way. You can kind of see how the leaves are rehydrating. Alright, it's got kind of it's got this thickness. It's easier to see the thickness as it's going in. Instead of splashing around so much, it kind of just like goes in and flattens out like a thick jelly. Okay, let's see. Ooh. All right, it's a very bright, yet like it's a mixture. There's bright notes, but there's also that steam notes. Some grassiness. But nothing too unique standing out. Just a very nice aroma. Let's get this hot. Alright, perfect. You can kind of see the color here. There's a lot of particulates. Not like from broken leaf particulates so much as just there's I don't know how to describe it, almost like tea dust in there, but it's so thick that it's like if I stop moving it, the particulates that are in there are just hanging. They aren't settling down, so it's like so thick it just suspends everything in there. It's got a nice little yellow color. Kind of excited. This is definitely going to have a nice, that smell. Let's see if I can kind of smell the dry It's a little brighter as it's dry, and then quickly fades away. Yeah, the aroma's already gone now. But all right, without further ado, cheers. So this is the first. Well, I'll go into. So the cultivar of this is Goko, and this is the first Goko I've had, and I'm picking up a lot of sweetness, which is very interesting. Not very much seaweedy flavor in this yet. It's very vegetal. Tastes like steamed green vegetables. But very, what am I tasting? Not quite starchy like peas. Broccoli stems maybe. Maybe asparagus stems. While the broth looks thick, it's not very thick on the mouth. It's very even. How do I, like, it doesn't, there's a thinness in its thickness. Maybe it's because there's not any stickiness in the mouthfeel. The flavor is very bright. Like, there's a level of umami-ness, but it's not the kind that makes me just want to sink in and soak up the broth. It's kind of a brighter green vegetable. I'm trying to see if I can pick up the specific one. But it's more of just sensing like maybe broccoli stems and asparagus. Very intrigued. All right, so let's add some heat. Progress the T20 to steep 2. So this is 60 degrees Celsius. And we're going to do it for 1.5 minutes. It's very different than the other cultivars I've had. All right, so the stats of this while that's brewing, like their other one, they don't disclose the picking season, so I'm just going to assume, like the good Gyokuros, that it's picked during the Ichibancha or Ikibancha, the first flush of this year is going to be what I assume. But they don't disclose it, which would be nice. So we're not having to assume, because you know what that makes. It's the Goko cultivar, and also from Uji, Kyoto. So a very famous place for Gyokuro, kind of the hub. Like Yunnan would be for pu'er, Uji, as I'm picking up, would be for Gyokuro. They do disclose like the shading, so they say this was shaded by way of Tana technique. So I've got some research and learning to do. Maybe I'll assign myself a research project to find out what Tana versus the other version, that what these different shading techniques are. Okay. Letting that kind of pour. I'm trying to watch how it splashes, and it's still very thick, where it doesn't like splatter. It just kind of like holds onto every drop as it's falling. Okay, more steamed spinach in this one. When we add a little heat, there's still some. Well, yeah, I'm not picking up any seaweed. It's mostly just steamed spinach. And it's very, very light, so not like defrosting. It's pretty fresh. Let's get this heating up. Okay, a lot more green. The particulates are still very suspended and just kind of hanging out there. Some more chlorophyll gets pulled out as we add heat compared to the cold brew. All right, cheers. No astringency. There's no puckering on the sides. This tastes like if I was to drink the liquid after steaming some vegetables. You just kind of drink what's pooled at the bottom. I would dare say this is like soupy. Like it's reminding me of like a soup, like a vegetable broth. So there's no meat in it, no bones. There's a savoriness, and so there would be some umami, but there's not like that intense, like it's not wanting me to just soak it up yet. There's a brightness to it without the astringency. I'm trying to see if I can isolate more of the green vegetables. I think kale is coming to mind, like a steamed kale specifically. I think that's maybe kale stems more than broccoli stems because there's no bitterness. And the brassicas of like broccoli and cabbage has bitterness that I'm not picking up. Yet, at least. So that was the second steep. Let's try steep 3. This is 65 degrees, so we've just increased it 5 degrees. And we're going to do it for the same amount of time for 90 seconds. Pour gently, even though, so there's still some bubbles forming as gently as I'm pouring. Nothing I would classify as foam, but the bubbles are staying around for a while. It fills the pot. They definitely swell up. From fitting in this little thing when it's dry to that bigness when it's full. Price-wise is pretty... I got little flies floating around. Because I grow lettuce, and so they like to breed in the dirt. So every once in a while I get a fly. Anyway, sorry. Price is kind of mid-range. It's at 27 cents a gram, so $7.65 an ounce. So if you did just a 100 mil session, you're looking at $1.62. So even like these that are super expensive, you're looking at like $7 or $8 for like a session of white tea, which is like what you're paying if you went to a Starbucks or something for just a coffee. So even though it's pricey at what you have to put up front, I mean, per session, this is very affordable. Still a lot of thickness in this. Starting to get a bit more transparent. Alright. Okay, on this third steep, I'm starting to get some of the algae notes. I'm starting to feel like I'm sitting by a lake now. With that third steep's aroma. Now, the third steep, as I'm finding, tends to reveal the quality as far as if it starts bringing out harsh or fishy notes. So, let's find out. So this is steep 3. Very beautiful green color. It's hard to see from there, but it's got a nice green. Anyway, cheers. Okay, now I'm getting astringency. Maybe bitterness. Maybe bitterness. I'm trying to isolate the right words. Nothing I would classify as fishiness. But there is some algae. Not quite seaweedy or nori, but it's tasting like an algae smells, if that helps, as far as the lightness of the algae flavor. There's some dryness coming out now. Okay, I would say bitterness. It's on the back of my tongue. So I wouldn't, and same with them, they don't classify it as something pinnacle premium. It's still very good though. It is better than some more expensive ones I've had. Oh, I didn't increase this. Because I think it could, oh come on. Sometimes one of my issues with the Bonavita, as good as it is, it's kind of persnickety in how you work with it, as far as setting the timer, changing the temperatures. Sometimes you have to take it off and put it back on, just turn it off. It takes finagling. Anyway, so we'll let that heat up a bit. Let's see if I can get any. Yeah, just nothing on the dry cup. It's just, it evaporates pretty. Like some teas, the aroma lingers and you can pick up notes. But this, I'm not picking up anything. Yeah. So we're gonna see if this can go 4 steeps. We'll find out. That one, there's some bitterness, there's some dryness, some cottonmouthiness. So we'll see if maybe 3 is the cap or if it can handle 4. So 70 for a minute and a half. Pouring gently. Alright, and I think I'll just kind of meditate through this one, just kind of be present. We've talked about everything really to bring up, so we'll just kind of wait. Alrighty. A lot more watery. Very transparent. This is probably going to be the last one. But still impressive that it can hold up to 3 or 4 steeps, when some can only handle 1. Yeah, the aroma now it just smells like overcooked. Yeah. It's a lighter aroma. Some of those attractive notes, I guess, are gone. Still a lot of good green color, though, in its transparency. Alright, steep 4. Cheers. It's very light, very used up. The notes I'm picking up are mostly the light algae. Yeah. It's mostly mouthfeel at this stage. So some dry astringenciness. No bitterness in this one though that I'm picking up. At the very least, it's a lot less than the third steep had. So I think it'll still contribute nicely to the encore. So let's let it all sing together one more time. Do a little stir. See how they all taste together. Alrighty. Cheers. It's a lot more centering, a lot more savory, less bright astringency now. Very nice. There's just an interesting sweetness that is probably due to the cultivar, the Goko. I'd say it's a very good entry-level representative Gyokuro because there's almost nothing in your face. Like, because I love the umami hit, it's leaving me wanting that. But it's still very enjoyable, very drinkable, very good, and very unique still. It's hard to put words to what this is, mostly because there's not any like super brightness standing out, there's not any super umami standing out. It's all very well blended, or very well balanced, I guess would be a word to use for this one. But I'd say very good tea, very nice. All right, so with that, I'll sign off, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me.